Are we ready yet?
Yes, we are.
We were born ready.
Oh yeah, of course, Swatman. I like that. Let's go. Let's go ahead and bring the October 19, 2021 workshop to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Johnson.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Dole.
Here.
Councilmember Ishmael. Councilmember McClymans.
Here.
Councilmember Swatman.
Present.
And Councilmember Watson.
Here.
A motion. Member Ishmael.
Second.
All right, it's moved and seconded to excuse Council Ismail. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Agenda items this evening, we have council open discussion. Councilmember Watson.
Mr. Mayor, on October 7th, I attended the Community for Families Coalition meeting along with Chief Jeter. Had an excellent presentation from the Pierce County Human Resources, Valerie Almany. He talked about rental and utility assistance. Really interesting. They realize that's so much available to people, where they have a rental program, they have utilities for gas and power available to them. Usually takes a few weeks, but they actually brought up they can press it, pull it forward the next day or two if they had to on a line. So there's a lot available to people out there, along with testing for people. I was able to get a whole case of COVID-19 test kits for lines for kids' house. If you know if someone needs some of these for a group, let me know. I can get those delivered to my house yesterday. And I went to a park ride last Thursday. It went real well. It's easy and free, of course, over there. And I got my results Saturday, and yes, I was negative. So here, just wanted to check it out. So it was a great presentation, and I think that's about the highlights of the meeting. Anything else? Very good. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Councilmember Watson. Anyone else for open discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is Deputy Mayor Evans.
Go right ahead.
I know, Tom, you're always positive, though. That wasn't what I had to say. I was hoping to get some more information by some other legislators in the area about Pierce County's use of the funds that are coming available to them with the it's not the CARES Act, it's the Recovery Act, I believe, something like that. There's a few of us that have some concerns that Pierce County is spending it a little loosely and frivolously on some things that aren't really addressing the root cause of what they're hoping to do with homelessness. So I'm hoping that this isn't really a city thing. It's just something I hope that I can get endorsements from the other council members when it does come through, that we all get together with other jurisdictions and have some sort of counterpoint with what, we don't need to be buying hotels with that kind of money. We should be addressing the root cause of homelessness and drug use and putting some programs in place, not just facilitating a shelter for people, but actually getting them in some programs that actually help treatment. So I, along with some other council members from other cities, will be working on that and hopefully we'll be able to present some information and encourage everyone that's interested to sign on and just say, hey, we support using this money a little more appropriately and addressing the root cause rather than just a simple solution to buying hotels with it. I'll be coming forward soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I would support that as well. Any other open discussion? Any hands up? I don't see anything. No?
Sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Let's go into item B, review of council minutes. Councilmember Watson.
There were no corrections, sir.
Nice. Councilmember Carter, you agree?
Agree.
Nice. Okay, perfect. Love it. Item C, please. Sadie?
This is item C, which is resolution 2984 that is up for a discussion.
All right, and I believe we have Chuck.
Yeah, so this is basically what's coming out of one of the lessons we learned in the Sumner Grade Fire was that all internet providers and cable TV providers all run their fiber optic cable along the exact same number of poles. Normally this is common practice because if one provider runs something along a pole, the next person in the line doesn't have to change anything. They don't have to make any changes to those existing poles because the first person already did it. So it's common for whether you're T-Mobile running fiber optics to your, or a subcontractor, between your cell towers or your Comcast or your CenturyLink, that everyone's fiber optic cables run along the same lines. It's just cheaper to do it that way. Unfortunately, when you have a fire that burns through 8 poles and burns everyone's fiber connectivity, you lose everything. So when the summer grade fire happened and poles were burnt up along Myers Road, there was nothing in the city. Comcast fiber optics affects their cable TV, their internet. CenturyLink was down. The cell towers are running on basically hopping between cell towers, so their bandwidth was greatly reduced because they're running on generators and they have no direct backhaul via fiber optic cables. So the city was down as well because we use Comcast for our fiber optic internet. And I've been looking at other ways we can get around having a backup system that isn't terribly expensive, but will fulfill the need in the event that our Comcast internet does go down. And we looked mainly at either satellite internet or broadband through microwave. The benefits of these are they're both through the air. So you don't have a bunch of cables that could easily be burnt up or cut up through construction or any number of ways. You've got a point-to-point, has to be line of sight from one area to the other, that whether it's microwave or satellite, you're beaming the internet access through. Satellite ended up being quite a bit more expensive, whereas we have a local provider here that is able to provide us a small internet connection month to month because we won't be using it. But in the event that we have an outage, we can call them up and they can crank that internet connection up to a much better speed, and we only pay for that higher internet speed while we use it. Then we call them, they crank it back down, and we're back to this less expensive rate. The installation fee is a little bit more than we had anticipated in just discussions, and primarily that's because we're looking at trying to bring this internet connectivity to the public works station or building. There is no line of sight to any of their locations directly to the public works area. We're going to have a double bounce, so we're going to have a wireless microwave at the Ponderosa tank, and then from Ponderosa tank, it will go to our public safety building. So the installation cost of the equipment is going to be a little bit more expensive because we're having to pay for more equipment to get it to where we need to, as opposed to if we had a direct line of sight, we don't only have to basically pay for one antenna instead of 3 dishes.
Is the 100 megabytes per second enough broadband when we need it to?
That's what our current broadband is.
It is, okay.
Is 100, yes. It can theoretically go up to 150, but anything above 150, we would have to change out to more expensive microwave antennas. Yes, it was. I don't have the top of my head, but the problem with Starlink was they weren't willing to do that ratcheting, so you would have to pay for 100 megabytes every month, whether you used it or not. So that was going to be quite a bit more expensive.
That be, a primary path?
It would certainly be more expensive than Comcast as well. So it would be overall more expensive just to have it. And for the most part, except for this Thunder Grade fire, we haven't really had any problems with our Comcast fiber. Not to say that we won't, and we can't, but it's been fairly robust.
Councilmember Swatman?
Thank you. Excellent solution. Great job ferreting out all the details here. I was wondering, kind of an offshoot of, because I heard that our website was unavailable during the outage. fire, right?
During the fire, our website was available because that is hosted elsewhere. One of the main issues was because the city's internet was down, we couldn't send or receive email.
Okay.
Another issue was obviously if you're in the EOC, you're running off little cellular hotspots, which don't have very good connectivity, number one, because they're running on reduced power and they're trying to backhaul through their own wireless system.
Yeah, and then how?
Yes.
I don't think.
Right.
I just couldn't completely understand. I thought I heard that we were unable to basically update the website. That's where I've heard, and I don't know if it's accurate, that people were trying to go for information to the website, and the website didn't really have any significant updates on it, or that they didn't fully understand it.
I think the issue was employees in the EOC having a very difficult time getting connectivity out to changes. I know that we did have some people who were not in Bonnie Lake employees that were able to make changes remotely. But people inside the city we really had almost no internet connectivity for 3 or 4 days.
Sounds like we'll have the ability to be able to do that in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. With this type of solution, yes.
I believe Leslie was running to Auburn. Get more information out because that was where the cell towers were. Our cell towers were down too, not just fiber.
Oh, yeah.
So-
You mentioned being more expensive with the installation of the tower. I think we talked about this in public safety. Are you talking anything more than what we're already looking at? With
No, this $6,500 installation is the 2-tower solution. Yes.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'm really glad this is moving forward. This is what I talked about a few months ago. What are we doing? Communication is a great alternative. Chuck, I appreciate this. Great job. And hopefully then we can inform our citizens what's going on. They're pretty well lost during the summer great fire that way. So thank you.
All right. So the next steps, I guess, next week on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
Chief Jeter, you endorse this?
Yes, absolutely.
And so,
Any?
if we don't pass this, we won't have an alternative internet connection the next time there is a major that fiber. Are the utilities doing anything to
No,
that contingency?
I did ask Comcast and CenturyLink, well, we see this as a huge issue. What are you doing to mitigate this? And they both kind of said, well, we're not really, we're looking into it. Neither had any constructive anything. Basically, in their mind, it's a once in a how many, 50-year occurrence, so it's not worth their time, is what I got from them.
Any other questions? So move this forward to next week. Consent agenda, Deputy Mayor Evans? Oh, I can't hear anybody.
Yes, consent agenda, please.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Chuck, very much for that. Appreciate it. I don't see any further business before us. We have no exec session. So with that, we will adjourn. Have a great week.
Thank you.